with land ice on the Sipal Coast, the Dome Sea Lake Vostok region, along the Transantarctic Mountains, and over Victoria Land. IceBridge demonstrated it could operate out of this new region and plans to go back in 2015.
They call it the White Desert, a frozen wasteland where time stands still. But in early 2026, a data leak from a decommissioned surveillance satellite revealed something that shouldn't exist. Not here, not under 4 kilometers of solid ice. Why have the world's most powerful figures been making secret pilgrimages to the South Pole? And why is the airspace over these coordinates strictly no-fly? You've been told it's for scientific research, but the files we've recovered suggest a much darker reality. Today, we go beyond the ice. Welcome to the Redacted Files. To understand the present, we must go back to 1946. While the world was recovering from the Second World War, the United States launched a massive military expedition called Operation High Jump. This wasn't a small team of scientists. It was an invasion force. Leading the fleet was Admiral Richard Byrd, a man of unquestionable courage. The mission was scheduled to last 6 months, but after just 8 weeks, Byrd and his fleet retreated in a state of panic. The official reports cited harsh weather. The unofficial reports, they spoke of casualties, lost aircraft, and something Admiral Byrd wrote in his private diary that was immediately classified top secret. When Byrd returned, he gave a chilling warning to the press. He stated that the United States must prepare for the possibility of an attack by craft that could fly from pole to pole at incredible speeds. Shortly after, the admiral was silenced. His files were redacted. For decades, the Antarctic Treaty has kept the world out. They told us it was to protect the environment, but in January 2026, a whistleblower from a private satellite firm leaked a series of LIDAR scans that changed everything. LIDAR technology can see through solid objects, and what it saw beneath 2 miles of ice defies conventional history. These aren't natural rock formations. The geometry is too precise. The angles are too sharp. We're looking at a massive urban complex, larger than modern-day London, preserved in a deep freeze for millennia. But here is the part they didn't want you to see: the heat signatures. Antarctica is supposed to be dead, but the sensors are picking up massive amounts of thermal energy radiating from deep underground. Something is generating heat down there. Something is still active. Is it a geothermal anomaly, or is it the urban heat island of a civilization that never actually left?
Between 2018 and 2025, over 40 high-level researchers from 12 different nations disappeared from these sites. No bodies were recovered. No search parties were sent. The official cause of death: extreme weather accidents, but we obtained a partial flight manifest from a private contractor. One name stands out: Dr. Eris Thorne, a specialist in ancient linguistics and deep crust acoustics.
Thorne wasn't there to study ice cores. His last transmission, recorded from a depth of 3,000 meters, wasn't about oxygen levels. He was terrified. He claimed that the thermal anomalies weren't coming from machines, but from the sleeping giants. He said, "They are breathing, and the ice is getting thinner." Shortly after this recording, Station 21 went dark. Satellite images from 48 hours later showed the entire base had been dismantled, not destroyed, dismantled. Every scrap of metal, every document, and every human was gone. Only a massive, perfectly circular hole in the ice remained. A hole that leads directly to the structures we saw in the LIDAR scans. The secret isn't that they found a city. The secret is they woke it up. And now the bases aren't there to keep us out. They are there to keep it in. So, what is the truth hidden beneath the 0-degree wasteland? Is it a forgotten chapter of human history, or something that was never human to begin with? The evidence points to a terrifying convergence. The heat signatures, the redacted diaries, and the missing researchers all lead to one conclusion. Antarctica isn't just a continent. It is a biological and technological vault.
Someone or something built a sanctuary there before the ice even existed. And as our world warms and the glaciers retreat, the vault is opening. The secret bases we discussed aren't there to study the ice. They are there to manage a handover, a transition between the world we know and the one that has been waiting under the frost for eons. The official files will tell you that everything is under control. They will tell you that the sounds from Sector 4 are just shifting tectonic plates. But remember Admiral Byrd's warning, the land beyond the pole. He wasn't talking about a place. He was talking about a timeline that is now catching up to us. We are watching the ice, but the question is the ice watching us? This case is far from closed. It's just beginning. Stay vigilant, stay hidden. I am the observer, and this was a redacted file.
It's been 2 years since Operation Icebridge has flown over the West Antarctic ice sheet, one of the fastest melting large masses of ice on the planet. Back then, the mission was based out of Punta Arenas, Chile, a great location if you want to hit the West Antarctic and other science targets near the Antarctic Peninsula. But for the first time last fall, the mission moved its field site to the even more remote McMurdo Station, where they completed the most comprehensive long-range surveys ever performed of several areas. For many on the team, it was a new experience to actually touch down in Antarctica and see firsthand things like Weddell seals basking in the sun, gigantic pressure ridges of sea ice formed by the ice pushing against the coast, the active volcano Mount Erebus, and Scott's cabin with 100-year-old seal flippers mummified by the dry Antarctic air. But front and center on the team's mind was the new complexity of this year's challenge. There were new weather patterns to decipher, new training exercises to prepare the pilots for landing on a floating sea ice runway, and a host of new regulations for operating out of McMurdo. Adding to the challenge, a runway that was starting to melt away as the summer approached. Even with these challenges and a shortened schedule, the team was able to measure the sea ice of the Ross Sea, along with land ice on the Saipal coast, the Dome Sea Lake Vostok region, along the Transantarctic Mountains, and over Victoria Land. Icebridge demonstrated it could operate out of this new region, and plans to go back in 2015. But the network of NASA, university, and international partners who use Icebridge data also want to see how things have changed in the Antarctic Peninsula, on the Ronne Ice Shelf, and in the West Antarctic Ice Sheet. So they're returning to operate out of Punta Arenas, Chile, once again this year.